So, quick overview on Tekken. So I'm going to go over like a lot of the basics to kind of get my whole plan is to like get you guys used to the flow of Tekken more so than like what are the techniques and like how do I optimize or how do I like what's my movement? Like you guys can look up movement and all that stuff. I think the hardest part about transitioning from 2D to 3D is that it's like the rhythm's different, right? Like obviously there's a lot of neutral and stuff in 2D games, but there is neutral in 3D games as well. But there's also a lot of like gameplay up in your face, which is not really as common in 2D games. Like in 2D games, there's a lot of pushback, right? So if you do like if you do like 3 jabs in a row, they're no longer in front of you. But in 3D games, like you tend to move forward, so you do a string and you're still in front of them. You know, you mash a bunch of jabs, you're still like in their face. So the pressure continues a lot of the times when you're not really used to it being that way in 2D. So anyway, I'm going to talk about like just try to help you guys like figure out how to learn and help you understand kind of the flow. And feel free to ask questions, you know, and interact. If I miss anything or if anything sounds crazy or if I say anything wrong, let me know. So cool. So I'm just going to use Lily because that's the character I'm the most familiar with, but when I tell you stuff, I think the one thing to remember about Tekken is like no matter what the rules are, or no matter what the system is, or no matter what I tell you, there's always an exception. There's always like, oh, every character has this move. It's like, no, it's not true. There's always exceptions to how everything works. So take us all with a grain of salt, and please don't get mad at me if you like play some crazy character that doesn't have the normal Tekken standard stuff. Okay, cool. So basics of Tekken. There's 3 types of attacks. There's high attacks. There's mid attacks. And then there's low attacks. Right? High attacks, you can duck them. So if they're ducking, it's completely... They completely miss. So you have to block them high or you can duck them, right? Mids, if you're ducking, you get blown up. So if I get hit, so if I'm ducking, any mid will hit me. That's the way every 3D fighter works, right? And then lows will only hit you if you're standing, or if you're stand blocking. I mean, if you're not blocking, you're going to get hit anyway. But if you're stand blocking, the lows will beat stand blocking, right? There are exceptions, so there's special lows. So it looks like it says slow, but actually says it's a special low. I think there used to be special mids, but I think they replaced them with special lows. So I'm just going to talk about special lows. Special lows are low attacks that can be blocked standing. So you can block them standing or you can block them crouching. There aren't a whole lot of them, but like crouch jab is a really good example. So if Jin's blocking, standing block, you can still block this, right? What makes it a special low is the fact that you can still low parry it. So if Jin decides to do low parry, he can still do that. And also if Jin decides to do like a high crush or something, or sorry, a low crush, it'll also beat that. So like a hop kick will beat this. You know, even though and a hop kick won't beat mids, but it'll beat a special low. So that's kind of the difference. Like I said, there used to be special mids and special highs, but I don't remember. I used to think a special mid used to be a move that you can block standing, but it puts you in a crouching position. So there's certain moves that will actually put you crouching and leave you open for like low throws and give you advantage, that kind of thing. So it doesn't say special mid anymore, but I think it used to be. Anyway, just know that some mids will leave you crouching. And certain characters, you know, like King, he can set up his low throws, that kind of stuff. But if Jin mashes from here, he can't do like a standing jab anymore. He has to do a crouching jab. Or sorry, a while standing jab or a crouching jab. Oh yeah, there's a little hit properties icon. You see that? Makes him crouch. So there you go. Alright, so I said that, like, you know, crouching beats high attacks. I said that if you're standing, you know, a low will hit you. If you're stand blocking, a low will hit you. But there's also things in this game called like high crushes and low crushes. So a high crush will it's basically a move that goes under highs. It's like in low profiles. So 2D doesn't really have this as much. But like if I have Jin to just do like a jab or something. Yeah, just a fast high attack. Good. Thank you. There's certain moves I do that will just completely blow that up, but it'll still be a move. So like Lily has this like snake edge, which basically will launch any like high attack. She also has Gellerhorn, but I can't seem to like. Can't seem to get it to go. There it is. So typically these high crushes and low crushes tend to, you know, be really unsafe, but you get a lot of reward off of it. So also a lot of low attacks will go under highs. So like Jin does a high punch and I just do a crouch jab, it'll go under the jab. Right? There are also low crushes. So Jin decides to do a low attack. Most typical low crush is a dive kick, or sorry, hop kick, right? So hop kick will beat a low every time. It'll also beat like crouch jab, which is a special low, right? And not everyone has a hop kick. Certain characters have like this move called an orbital, which is kind of like a reverse hop kick. Some characters kind of just have moves that they just jump a little bit, do some sort of launcher. But yeah, just keep that in mind. If you see people doing a lot of highs or a lot of lows, you can punish it instead of just blocking lows, right? If you know the low's coming, you don't have to sit there and block it. You can just do a dive kick, or you can just do like a hop kick or something and blow it up and do damage in. So for example, like those Dragunov players doing that stupid crouching punch. Same thing with people. If you know they're just like they're just blocking something and just going for jab. If you have a high crush and you're tired of blocking their jab attack, just do that instead. You know, if you know they're gonna do something in this game, you want to do the opposite of it, right? So if I've been playing this guy for like 3 times and I know he's gonna jab after getting hit by this, I'm gonna go for my biggest launcher. Right? As opposed to just blocking it or dealing with it, right? Highs tend to be your safest and your fastest option. Some of them are plus. Typically the jab is plus. Mids tend to be launchers and kind of more powerful attacks. Launchers are usually unsafe and punishable and blocked. And then lows are kind of like overheads in Street Fighter. Like, you know, like the round's about to end in Street Fighter, and it's like, oh shit, I need to get a hit in. Let me just do an overhead, because most people default to crouch block in that game. Well, in this game, most people default to standing block or backdash, which you can block while backdashing in this game. So your lows are going to be a lot more effective. So if you want to end a round or something, it's very common to just go for the low, because most of the time people are going to default to standing blocking. If you default to crouch block in this game, you're gonna get blown up by everything, basically, by all the most powerful moves in the game. So most normal launchers are all mids, right? So defaulting to crouch block is not a thing in 3D fighters. You just got to default. You got to learn to just stand block, you know. There is a technique called fuzzy guarding, which is, I don't see a lot of Tekken players do it as much, but I think the good ones do. And what that is basically while you're stand guarding, you tap down in case a low comes out. A lot of times if you tap down, even if you push down like for a fraction of a second, the game will understand that you wanted to block and block some lows. So you'll see me do this a lot. You can also fuzzy guard to duck throws. So throws are only highs, right? You can duck under a throw. You can duck under like a quick high. So you'll see me do this. But what fuzzy guarding really is, it's tapping down while you're blocking. Lows, since they're so strong and they're usually going to hit, normally they're minus on hit. They're usually very unsafe, and on hit, a lot of times they're even minus on hit. So I don't have an option of this right now. But that's a thing. Yeah, see, like this low is -2 on hit. It's so good that it's -2 on hit. So even after you get hit by low, sometimes it's even your turn. But anyway, I think it's important to understand that big difference between Street Fighter and like 3D games. Like you really have to remember that stand blocking is your default, because you're not going to get hit by as much, and that lows are basically your round ending overheads. You know, you got to think it's like complete opposite. And the thing about lows, they're very unsafe, right? They're very risky buttons. They work, and they work well, but if you block a low, 9 times out of 10, the punishment's pretty ridiculous for blocking a low. So they're balanced. The strength of how good lows are is balanced by how unsafe they are. If that makes sense. So I don't want to harp on that too long, but you guys get the idea. So that's how like highs, lows, mids work, right? So the next thing I want to talk about is notation. So we talked about all the highs and mids and stuff. You probably know this already since you guys have been playing for a little bit now, but there's Tekken does, all the buttons in Tekken have numbers. So you know, you got left punch, you got right punch, you got left kick, you got right kick. Those are your 4 buttons. So those 4 buttons are denoted in notation as 1, 2, 3, 4. So left punch is 1, right punch is 2, left kick is 3, and right kick is 4. Right? Typically your right kick is going to be your faster kick. And typically your left punch will be your faster punch. So 1 and 4 tend to be like the faster buttons, but you know, there's always exceptions, so who knows. Down forward 2 is like your typical launch here. Most characters have something like that. And then you can do any combination of any of the buttons. So you can do 2 punches, which will give you some sort of like double palm attack usually, or like a shoulder or something. You can do 2 kicks, which will give you some sort of like fancy double kick. You can do punch. You can do left punch, left punch, left kick, which gives you a throw, regular throw, and you can do right punch, right kick, which gives you a back throw. You can even do like left punch, right kick, which gives like some other properties. Usually that's like a shoulder or something. And and then I guess right punch, left kick is your rage, whatever, heat, rage, drive, impact, meter, whatever. Sure, we can talk about the Tekken throws. So left punch, right punch. So sorry, left punch, left kick will give you like a regular throw, right? All regular throws can be teched for just one. So no matter if I do left punch, left kick, or I do right punch, right kick, there's a window where you can basically push one to break them. I think one or two actually breaks them. A lot of people will tell you, oh, the way you tech throws is by looking at the hand they use. Yeah, and I hate this explanation because like no beginner is going to ever be able to see this. Just ignore every time somebody tells you this whole look at which hand. I don't know. It's like a fucking gatekeeping explanation. It's like, oh, all you gotta do is look at the hand. Like no one's gonna react to that, right? Unless you're like a pro. I don't know why Tekken players keep telling new players that's how to do it. The real answer to Tekken throws is whatever button the character used to throw you, you should break with that button. And there are actually just two types of throws. There's either there's throws that can be broken with one or two, so you can actually push one or two to break regular throws, or there are throws that are broken with 1+2. So Lily has a throw which is up, forward, 1+2, and the way to break that is with 1+2 because that's the input she puts in, right? If she does 1+3, you can just break it with 1, right? If she does 2+4, you can also break it with 1 or 2. You can just really mash jab and break most throws. And like I said, every character or every rule has an exception, and King is the exception. So King has throws you can only break with 1. He has throws you can only break with 2. He has throws you can only break with 1+2. It's a mess. Just don't use King to decide to like understand how throws work. King, you have to literally understand what throw he did and how to break it. But stop listening to people who are like, oh, you look at which hand comes out. It's just, that's the dumbest shit ever. Like, no one's ever gonna see that until they've played Tekken for like 10 years. So just ignore that and take a look at the other character's frame data or their move list and find out specifically what throw you're getting thrown by and how to break it. 9 times out of 10 you can just mash 1 to break a regular throw. And 9 times out of 10 I will go for the 1+2 throw because most people don't actually break 1+2 throws. And then once they start breaking my 1+2 throw, I'll just go to the regular throw. Right, so I'll usually start off with a 1+2 until they catch on. And then the first break that they do, I'll just switch. I'll switch to the regular throw. So hopefully that answers it. The hands, don't listen to the hands. So you're either breaking with 1 or you're breaking with 1+2. And if you're against King, then you gotta do 1 or 2 or 1+2. That's it. That's throw breaking in a nutshell. Also, you can't break throws if you're in counter hit state. So if I'm in the middle of a startup of a move and somebody throws me, there's like a little flash that happens. You can't break those. Also, you can't break punish throws. So if you do like a rage art and they block it and punish it with a throw, you can't break that either. Yep. So the flash just means it's a counter hit throw. I don't know if it does more damage, but I do know that that's what it means. I'm sure you guys will see that a lot now. Yeah, the flash means you shouldn't be mashing. You can also throw power crushes, I believe, but you can't throw rage arts. Rage arts are immune to throws. So now I want to talk a little bit about launchers. So there's 2 types of launchers in the game. That's how you get most of your damage. There's normal launchers, which launch on normal hit. So down forward 2, very common normal launcher. A lot of characters have it, but again, some don't. Lily has a few normal launchers. And a launcher is basically any move that will put them in the air so you can start doing combos. So Lily has this. Lily has forward, forward 2. She has down forward 3 plus 4. So anything that basically will launch them, they're not blocking, right? And it can be a crumple. It's still a launcher, right? You can throw them in the air. It doesn't matter. They're all launchers. And then there's also counter hit launchers, which only launch on counter hit. And typically, regular launchers are unsafe. So if I have Jin block, there are low launchers. Typically, it's one thing I didn't mention though, but I'll talk about that in a bit. There are low launchers like Snake Edge. Lily's low launcher is this. She has a Snake Edge, but it's a really slow Snake Edge. But it doesn't need counter hit, right? And you have normal launchers and you have counter hit launchers. And the way to find out what moves you have that are counter hit launchers, if you go here and you go into player counter and change it to counter hit, you can figure out which moves you have that cause a counter hit launch. So I know for a fact that like Lily's down forward 3 is a counter hit launcher. Right. That does not happen on normal hit. What else do I have that's a counter hit launcher? I don't have much. Honestly, this character is not really known for counter hit launchers. What else do I have? Oh, and I have this. Boom! That's such a good one. This does not happen on normal hit. And I get massive damage off this. So counter hit launchers are great because they're, and this is actually something I don't really like that much about this game. Counter hit launchers are usually very safe and faster than regular launchers. So you have this, which is like probably punishable in block. Let's have him. Let's have Jin just block everything. Block all. So like, here we go. So my regular launcher is minus 11 on block, right? My hop kick minus 13 on block. My counter hit launcher here, it's plus 3 on block. Like it's so much safer just to do this and fish for counter hits if that's what I want to do, right? This move, minus 9 on block, can't do anything about it. Right, so it's really important in this game to figure out what your counter hit launchers are. And a lot of times what you'll do to set them up is just find a plus move. So I have like, my jab is plus 1. I could easily do jab, counter hit, or jab, counter hit. Just something to give me a little bit of advantage. My other plus move is this like double knee kick. I'm plus 6. I can go for that, and unless they jab, they're going to get hit, right? Plus 6, 17 frame move, boom. Oh, see, look, so this Malola does no damage. It's minus 12. Minus 13. Minus 12. Minus 24. Where's my other move? Minus 17. That's crazy. Minus 18. So yeah, every character has different counter hit launchers. Lily doesn't have a bunch, but characters like Kazuya and Azucena and Reina have like awesome, really fast, really strong counter hit launchers. So let me talk a little bit about strings in this game. I think strings are the most important kind of difference in between Tekken and Street Fighter, right? Or any 2D fighter. Like I remember I was saying before, like when you mash in a 2D game, chances are if they block or you've pushed a few buttons, it pushes them away. There's pushback. This game and 2D and 3D games don't really have a lot of pushback. Like the characters move forward when they're doing strings and doing attacks. So a lot of times after you do an attack, you're right in front of them, right? The reason for that is because if you do an unsafe attack, the opponent can punish it, right? So I would think of your strings as kind of like special moves. Those are your unsafe attacks, right? And 9 times out of 10, strings will be 3 attacks, right? So there are exceptions. Sometimes there's four attack strings. Sometimes there's 3 attack strings. But most of the time, you can't interrupt strings. The whole point of strings is to kind of get people to get on the defensive. So if I'm doing my regular strings, what's a good one? Okay, so like, oh, this is a good one. So this is like Lily's 3-hit string. It's not super unsafe, but it's not, it's not my turn after I'm done with it. If you mash at any point during this, like you're gonna get hit. There's no interrupting if I just mash through my string. Also, you can dial any string in, right? So you don't have to like time this. I could just dial in my 3 buttons and all 3 will come out. Like look at my inputs. Look how early I do them and the string happens. Very mash friendly, right? So yeah, most of the time, if someone's doing a string or mashing, you want to wait for the 3rd hit. I know in Street Fighter, it's very tempting to like, because we're coming from Street Fighter, it's very tempting to push a button after like their 1st or 2nd button. But if they're just going through their strings, you're always going to get counter hit by the 3rd hit. So the general rule of thumb is to wait for 3 hits, and now it's your turn. Like I said, sometimes that's not true, but for most of the time, that's the case. So if you got somebody who's just mashing or doing stuff, just wait for that 3rd hit, block it, and then go for your turn. The whole point of this game is to make people push buttons during your strings, right? Like the whole game is designed around that, and there are so many characters that can take advantage of that. So what's really important about not mashing between strings is that some characters during their strings get counter hit launchers. So if you push a button before the 3rd hit, they get a full combo. So, and every character has something, right? Lily doesn't have much, but the way to find this out for your own character is to set the setting to multiple counter hits. This is probably why most of you guys get blown up all the time, honestly. If I'm playing against a new player, I will just abuse this all day, and they'll probably have no idea what's going on. So for example, Lily has a 3-piece string here. He's blocking right now. Where the last hit is a launcher, right? If you mash at any point during this, you're gonna get like there's no way to actually interrupt this string. So let me show you what happens if the last hit hits as a counter hit. Right? So, and this isn't the best example, but that's But that's like, see, but if he doesn't push a button, it's just a regular knockdown. And if he's blocking, it's his turn, right? I'm minus 15. It's time. If he blocks this, it's hop kick time. Like I'm dead. 15 frame launcher destroys me. So a lot of the game is just like trying to get people to push buttons when it's not their turn. And this is the most common way to do it. Having string, people trying to mash the middle of the string, and then you see that, and then you go for the string, and then they get counter hit. Another thing that's important about this game in strings is that you can also delay them. So you can't delay all the strings, but some strings you can delay like a little bit. So I can do this fast, or I can like delay the last hit just a little bit, just to get them thinking. Yeah. You see that? So I'll do it fast, or I can do it just to get them like that little moment of hesitation. It's hard to do, but it depends on the string. You gotta see your own strings and which ones you can delay and which ones you can't. A lot of times the ones that are that cause the counter hits you can delay, right? Oh, and then on top of that, let's say you're fighting somebody, and this is like really important, right? So if you didn't listen to anything this entire time, pay attention to this, because this is really, really important. So let's say this person got hit by my counter hit string multiple times, and finally realizes, okay, I need to block this out. So once I've done that, made them respect the string, I don't have to do the whole string. Maybe I just go for the throw now. Right? Maybe they're waiting for three hits now, so they're free to throws. Right? Now they have to push a button or do something. That's like the basic mix-up in Tekken. Am I going to do hit, go for a launcher, or hit, time to throw you? Because you think I'm going to block. Right? Or because you think I'm going to throw out a launcher or something. So that you can do this with any character, any string, but the way to get people to block is by learning your conversions off of these counter hit strings, right? If you learn, I'd honestly recommend learning the counter hit launcher combos before you learn the regular launcher combos, because the only way to really get people to do things differently is stuff like this. Is having them sit there, wait for something, and get blown up because they push the button. Like, you get hit by that a few times, you're not pushing buttons anymore. Right? You're absolutely free to throws at that point. If you're tired of losing 100 health every time. So anyway. So if you guys didn't pay attention to anything, that I really hope you like heard me in that point, because that's the reason I win the matches that I win. It's not because I know my combos, it's not because I'm like my movement or Korean backdashing, it's really because I'm making people push buttons and punishing them for it. And I understand that once they stop pushing buttons, it's time to throw. Right? Cool. So that's strings. I think so. The whole flow of the game, I think, centers around strings. Like, anytime I finish a string, it's the other person's turn. Right? So a lot of times, what'll happen is I'll do a string, they'll block it, and then it's their turn. They do a string, and then I block it, and then I do another string. They block my string, and then they do a string, and I block that string, and it just goes back and forth. I block, you block, I block, you block, right? The trick is breaking that up. So instead of doing the full string, we want to throw. Right now, we're all kind of mashing, so when you're playing against like probably folks who are just learning, they're just be mashing anyway. Um, so this won't really apply until you've kind of gotten past that point. But you know what to do against people who mash as well. Find your counter hit string launcher, and use that to beat people who mash. And then then you won't have to fight them anymore. They'll be gone. And you can fight people who are actually like playing Tekken properly. You know. Honestly, like if I fought someone who's just mashing, all I need to do is this for the entire time, and they're gonna die in like 3 hits, right? Because I have my combo. Yeah, so when you have the advantage, that's when you do your mix-up, right? But you can do a mix-up anytime. That's where the game differs from Street Fighter, because you can do a mix-up anytime because you're constantly in their face. After blocking, after attacking, you're still in their face, right? So you need to take advantage of the fact that you're in their face and hit them with a strike-throw mix-up. That's different than Street Fighter, where you kind of, every time you win the mix-up situation, you're kind of back to neutral or an Oki. This game it's less about the Oki game. I mean, Oki's still there, but it's all about like, what do you do when you're right here? What do you do when you're here? You're +8 in their face, or what do you do when you're -8 in their face? You know. And any 3D game you guys play will be like that. Virtua Fighter will be like that. Soul Calibur is like that. It's just the nature of 3D fighting, and kind of replaces the whole jump game, the whole jump anti-air meta. Alright, so a couple things. The fastest button in the game is 10 frames. That's just the light punch, or left punch. Sometimes both. So that's the fastest punish in the game, 10. Anything that's -10 is punishable. And then throws are 12 frames. So you can do a punish throw for anything that's -12 or more. And then typically a hop kick is 15 frames. Yeah, of course, man. So knowing your punishes is important. If it's -10, just do jab, jab, get your advantage. Right, a +8 throw time. If they're -12, then you can do a throw. If they're -15 or more, you can do a hop kick. And if they're -16 or more, then you can do like your regular, you know, your regular big launcher. Most down forward 2s are like 16 frame launchers. A lot of characters have their 16 frame launcher, but a lot of characters have like 15 framers. I think Nina has like a 15 framer of normal hit. But your counter hit launchers will usually be faster, so keep that in mind. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, so wake up. So when you're on the ground, what do you do? There we go, perfect. So when I'm on the ground, what do I do, right? In this game, you don't get up automatically when you're on the ground. You can literally, if you do nothing, you'll just stay on the ground forever. You don't want to do, especially. It's not as brutal as it was in Tekken 7, where you could just keep getting hit on the ground. But remember that if you don't do anything, you're not going to automatically get up. I think that's really important. And then once you're on the ground, you have a lot of options. But I think the most important thing to learn is how to tech. So when you get knocked down, if you push punch the moment you fall, you get hit. The moment you hit the ground, you do a side roll. This should be your like default way of getting up. Right? Or if you push kick, you'll side roll to the other direction. So either punch will work. And I recommend most times, especially now when you're learning, just wake up like that. Side rolls is like the safest kind of option. There's ways to beat it, but it has invincibility frames, and it gets you out of positioning if you're by the wall. Much better than doing like a back roll. So you can also push back or forward, and you'll either back roll or forward roll, I believe. Both of those options can get blown up. They're not invincible. I don't think they're invincible. sometimes you may want to do it. You can also do like forward roll into punch punch. You'll get like a weird dive thing. Or you can push kick kick on the ground. You'll get that was not what I wanted. You also get like a kick up. But I'd recommend just do side roll. Just get in the habit of side rolling. It's way better. You can also do wake up kicks. So light kick will do like a low kick. Oh, sorry, left kick will do a low kick. Right kick will do a high kick. Or mid, I'm sorry. So left kick will do the low. Right kick will do the mid. These are not invincible options. So you can get blown up for those as well. But I think there might be a little bit of invincibility, but not much. Or if you hold down and push light kick, you get like a little toe hit. Which is fun. It's a good little get off thing. It'll work. What I do is offense when I hit someone against the wall. 9 times out of 10 you'll have a string that will be your wall string. It'll probably like my wall string is this. If I see someone against the wall, I know just to do this. It'll work. Or do that works as well. You just have to watch like people playing your character and see what they do when someone hits the wall. It's always going to be the same thing. You get a wall slide, and then it's always going to be the same. Some people it's just a string you can do, but it's different for every character, right? Like I said, once you've seen like a pro player or somebody with your character do a wall combo, they're going to do that wall combo every time. So just remember that. Alright, so combos. So there's 3 basic parts to a combo. There's the launcher, which can be a counter hit launcher, a regular launcher, whatever you want it to be. There's the tornado attack or the screw attack or whatever it's called. And that causes the bound state, right? And then there's your ender. So every character has a different ender. So my bound is this move basically, or this move. And then my my ender is usually this. Actually, it's usually this 3, and typically like these are all strings, right? So your launcher is 1 button, but your bound attack will most likely be like a string, one of your strings. So put it all together. I do my launcher, my bound attack, my string. And that's like a typical, that's like every combo is going to have that. There's ways to keep people going in the air. So like there's like float moves and everything. So I can like kind of float. I can float with this attack and then go into the bound. So I'll do this, go into the thing. But at the end of the day, I'm still doing like the same three things. So launcher, tailspin, ender, right? So you can make your own combos just based on that. You don't have to do big damage on your combos. Like I wouldn't worry now about getting optimal combos under control. I would just worry about when you get a launcher, get your damage. Just get whatever damage you can. So get your 60 damage from just your basic. Like that's still 55 damage. It's a lot. That's a lot more than if I like. That's a lot more than if I just like dropped this, you know, and I screwed it up. But I think it's important. The reason you should just do the basic combo first is so you can get the habit of like reacting to when you get a launcher. The hardest part about new players is like once you get this launcher, you freeze. It's like, oh shit, what do I do again? Right? If you can just get the habit of like reacting every time you see that launch hit or that counter hit launcher hit, that's what you need to train first. Then you train the combo. Once you train your brain to react to the hit and like do whatever launcher combination, then work on the next part, which is optimizing whatever your combo is. But if you skip that part, you're always going to do this and be like, oh, what do I do? Right? You're going to get some massive like counter hit and be like, oh shit, what was the combo again? You know? And the nice thing about combos in this game is that all the simple combos you learn, they'll feed into the bigger combos. Like you're still gonna have a launcher, you're still gonna use the same tornado spin attack. You're just gonna have stuff in between it. So if you can just stick with the simple stuff, learn that, get the muscle memory for that, then the harder ones will be a lot easier to do because you trained yourself to do the easy one first. All the combos build. It's really nice actually how the game is set up like that. So yeah, so don't try to do the big massive combos the first time. A lot of times the big combos require like extra special movement and all that kind of stuff. So for example, I have like a combo I have a wave dash, right? I have like a command dash, and there's certain moves that require the wave dash. But if I want to do optimal professional level combo, you can actually cancel wave dashes with sidestep. So I do the wave dash input, I can actually cancel it. But what that does is it puts me back in regular state. So like normally I can't do this punch twice in a row. But I'm canceling the wave dash to get it out. And a lot of my like high level combos are, you know, based on that. And I just don't do it in matches because it's just a waste. Like I could have gotten 60 damage, and instead I got 0 because I went for like the fancy combo. Anyway, yeah. So that's it. So that's all I really wanted to talk about. Any questions? I did want to, if you guys want, I can talk a little bit about movement. I didn't want to talk about movement just because like there's a million videos about movement and I don't think it's the most important thing. But I can talk about it. But yeah, that was it. I just wanted to talk about highs, mids, high crushes, low crushes, launchers, counter hit launchers, strings, punishes, wake up attacks and rolls and stuff like that, and then the combo structure. Sidestepping moves. So yeah, so there is a sidestep. So when you sidestep, you get a specific move that's not actually part of your regular set, right? Your regular move set. So some characters have really good sidestep moves, and other characters have really shitty sidestep moves. I'd recommend like just see what you have. So, like this is pretty good because I get a 2-hit combo off of it. A lot of times the sidestep move, like on counter hit, will be like amazing or something. So if you have something good like that, use it. Remember to check your moves if they're counter hits by doing player counter on. You can actually cancel out of a sidestep move by pushing forward first. So if I want to do sidestep into like a regular launcher, I'll push forward before I push the launcher. You can actually cancel sidesteps. You can cancel anything mid step. So you don't have to actually commit to any sidesteps at all. So I'm pushing back and I'm going forward, and I'm going forward instead of doing the full sidestep. Also, I guess it's important to know, like, in order to sidestep, you have to tap the button. If you hold the button, you get a jump. You have to tap it. If you want to walk, you double tap. Some moves actually, like, there are certain like strings or moves in the game where like a walk will actually beat it as opposed to a sidestep. So by holding the button, you get a jump. So don't hold the button. By holding down, you get a block, obviously. Or you get a crouch. What's up, Flash? Does that help, Rebellion? Oh no, wait. That was a bad habit. So how can you identify moves that initiate heat? Aside the one button thingy. So your move list should have the heat starters, right? If you go to your move list, it'll basically show you what your heat activation is. You see a little icon right there, the purple dude? Yeah, so there are certain moves in your move list that will always go into heat no matter what. You should take a look at those and learn what they are, right? So like, during Feisty Rabbit, medium punch, or right punch, whatever. So that'll always start heat. There's nothing I can do about it except not do the move, right? And then when it does hit, I think, does it work on block? It doesn't. I forget if it works on block or not. So, that didn't work. Punishment. So it doesn't work on block. But yeah, so the whole plus 17 thing is not real, yeah. It looks like, oh, I can do a combo from this, but no. It's just, it just gives you advantage for a mix-up situation. So, if you think they're gonna push a button, then you get to, you know. I think the only real point of this plus 17 is the fact that they don't have time to crouch a throw. So like it's a true mix-up. Normally you could crouch a throw, but crouching takes frames, right? So you can't actually, like, they have to take the throw or strike mix-up in that situation. It's a true 50-50. Because there's no time to crouch. Anything else? Like I said, I could talk a little bit about green backdash. I don't really, like, I don't think it's very important. But I've gone through everything else I want to talk about. Maybe I'll do another video about like the heat system or like the movement in general. But I think the most important thing is understanding like strings and how that dictates the flow of the match, and learning your counter hit launcher strings, and learning that once people start blocking your strings, you have to start throwing them. You can just do, you know, button, button, throw, instead of button, button, button. I think that's the key to like giving people a hard time in this game, you know. 10 hit combos worth learning? Nope. Don't even worry about them. So sometimes, some characters, like, you can learn like the first maybe 5 hits of the 10 hit combo, but the more buttons you do in the 10 hit combo, the more unsafe they become. They're not actual combos either. Oh, that's one thing I should have explained about strings. So strings aren't actual combos. They're not real combos. Um, they're not interruptible, but they don't actually combo. So this will never be a 3-hit combo, even on counter hit. Right? This will never be a 3-hit combo. Or I guess it's combo on counter hit. So I guess some are 3 on counter hit. That's actually a 10-frame punish. Oh, on counter hit. That's wild. I remember that one. Most of the time these won't be like they won't give you 3-hit combos. They're interruptible, and if the first 2 hits hit them, they'll be able to block the third and punish. Right. So keep that in mind. Like honestly, just mashing your 3-hit strings, it's fun, but like it's a pretty bad habit. It's probably if you're doing your strings a lot, it's probably one of the reasons you're getting blown out. But yeah, just get your easy combo, get the muscle memory, get your damage. You'll win way more matches than trying to do like the fancy stuff. Yeah, man, anytime. Those are like the basics. So maybe once everybody starts to kind of level up a bit, we can talk a little more about advanced stuff like advanced defense, and maybe more like advanced offense and like movement and the systems and just like winning. You know, talk more about winning than about like just basics. Yep, no problem, guys. All right, I'll be back on a little bit. See you guys. Appreciate it.